Gordon lashes out anew at the Land Transportation Office over the slow implementation of the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. To give us more details, we have Mean Los Baños. She's reporting to us live from Mandaluyong. Mean, what's going on so far at today's Senate committee hearing?
Riza, Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Richard Gordon called for the resignation of the officials of the Land Transportation Office amid what he says is a clear non-compliance of the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. Gordon castigated the LTO after finding out that 13 million bigger and more readable plate numbers for motorcycles are yet to be produced. It's been 2 years since RA 11235, or the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act, was enacted into law. Until now, even the command center where victims of riding in tandem criminals can report is still not operational, and there's no hotline for it yet. Gordon says there had been 36,000 riding in tandem-related incidents since 2010, and this could have been prevented 2 years ago had the LTO done its job. Bigger plates, according to the senator, could have protected the people from being victims of criminals using motorcycles. Besides, motorcycle owners have already paid for the plates. LTO ASEC Edgar Galvante explained that the plate-making plant had already begun operations since July 2020. He says more than 1 million plates had been made, but the pandemic slowed down the process. Let's listen to Senator Gordon during the Blue Ribbon Committee hearing.
Then I demand the resignation of all the people at LTO na may kinalaman dyan, because if they cannot carry on, matatapos ang term nila, 13 million pa ang gagawin nila, hanggang ngayon hindi pa nagagawa. Hindi biro yung ginagawa ninyo.
Riza, Senator Gordon did not buy the agency's explanation, saying that the plates should have been produced last December 2019, the original target date for the completion of the project. Riza?
Thank you. That was Mean Los Baños reporting again from Mandaluyong. The IATF has approved a resolution on the prioritization framework for vaccination. Palace spokesman Harry Roque says frontline workers in national and local facilities owned by the government and private entities will be prioritized. Also on top of the list are health professionals and non-professionals such as nursing aides and barangay health workers. The resolution also includes the allocation of the first shipment of Pfizer and BioNTech vaccines through the COVAX facility. The doses will be distributed to several hospitals across the country. A health official from the Science and Technology Department says reported figures on efficacy of vaccines are just numbers. In an interview with 1PH Sa Totoo Lang, Dr. Jaime Montoya of the Council for Research and Development explained that developers undertook different procedures. With this, Montoya stressed that we cannot just compare one shot to another. He also reiterated that vaccines should only register at least the standard 50% efficacy set by the World Health Organization. For the expert, it is more important to monitor the jabs during the rollout in other countries to discern their actual performance.
Kahit po kasi ang efficacy mo ay ganitong numero, maybe in the actual world, hindi po ganun kataas yon. Pwedeng bababa o sa iba naman ay pwedeng tumaas.
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has launched a trial that will mix 2 COVID-19 vaccines to make nationwide vaccination programs more flexible. But will this work on new variants too? Let's listen in to Bloomberg's interview with Johns Hopkins University professor Jason Farley.
Certainly, the pressure in the EU has prompted, the conversations between Pfizer and AstraZeneca to consider combining. We already have some preliminary data, at least from here in the United States, on the combination. When the Pfizer vaccine was approved, for example, many of us who were in the AstraZeneca trial, including myself, were instructed that we could possibly be unblinded because of the lower, at that moment, signal of efficacy. And therefore, we were given the option of being unblinded and receiving the Pfizer vaccine, of which many healthcare workers who were on the front lines of COVID chose to do. Subsequently, we saw great data from Pfizer, and we now know that the efficacy of the vaccine is quite great for severe disease as well as hospitalization. So there probably wasn't a need to receive both. But there is a significant handful, at least in the United States, who've already received both the vaccines as part of the trial. And so I would encourage the companies to look at those individuals closely while they're starting a new trial of about 800 participants in the UK announced soon this week.
We also heard actually yesterday that the way that the UK is giving out the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is one dose ASAP and then you wait 10 to 12 weeks for the second dose, actually has an 82% efficacy rate, I believe. Are we going to see more countries do it? Could the US be looking at doing the same thing?
So right now, the signal from the Biden administration is that that will not be the case. We've heard repeatedly from Dr. Fauci, the most important thing was increased distribution, being able to get the doses in the sequence as prescribed. Importantly, we're concerned about particularly the variants and the pressure placed on the vaccine when an individual has some level of antibody, but not level of antibody that's protective. And so concerned just about the duration between dose 1 and dose 2, although certainly it will increase supply, that's important. And some vaccine is better than no vaccine at all. There's still the biologic plausibility that, having a little bit of antibody, then it being exposed to a variant might put pressure on that variant to further evolve.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The University of the Philippines and Defense Department sat down for what they said the first of many meetings regarding the future of their 1989 Security Accord. Patricia Mangune tells us more.
Nearly 3 weeks after the termination of the 1989 UP-DND Accord, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana and UP President Danilo Concepcion held a dialogue in Quezon City, facilitated by the Commission on Higher Education. This was just the first in a series of meetings the two parties will hold to discuss their way forward. So far, they have not agreed whether to revive the old accord or to craft a new one.
Nagkaroon sila ng parang subsequent dialogues pa. Pag-uusapan yung kung ano yung mga mechanics na gagawin. So, para naka-hold muna yung I don't know if that was the right.
Patuloy pa sir yung discussion.
So the discussion will continue. I am not privy to the calendar kung anong schedule, but as far as I know, mayroon nang na-initiate na dialogue between the DND and the University of the Philippines.
As the Chief of Staff said, it was a cordial meeting between the Secretary of National Defense, Secretary Lorenzana, and President Danilo Concepcion. Sa pag-uusap na yon, nagkaroon sila ng pagkakataon na magkaroon ng paliwanagan, ng discussion, and pinag-usapan nila yung way forward. Way forward. And that way forward is patuloy na pag-uusap or engagement para makita kung ano pa ang pwedeng ma-develop after that initial engagement. So initial pa lang 'yon at magkakaroon ng susunod na pag-uusap. At importante, nagkaroon sila ng pagkakataon na magkita, magkaharap, magkausap at magkaroon ng palitan ng kuro-kuro hinggil doon sa nangyaring abrogation.
Newly installed AFP Chief Lieutenant General Cirilito Sobejana said the AFP could hold similar talks with other educational institutions as well. He added that under his term, the armed forces will put a premium on obeying the rule of law and respecting human rights. He says he is also willing to look into the statements made by NTF LCAC spokesperson Antonio Parlade against a journalist. But ultimately, Sobejana said they must not make unfounded threats.
Hindi ko pa masyadong narinig yung kanyang latest interview. We will discuss this matter together. Of course, he is part of the armed forces, but for now, na-designate siya as spokesperson. So, reflective pa rin sa organization. But that's why we need to discuss all these things.
In a Facebook post, Parlade recently criticized a journalist from Inquirer.net, calling her a propagandist and accusing her of aiding terrorists by spreading lies for publishing a story on the Supreme Court petition of two Aitas where they complained of alleged torture by the military. The Justice and Court Reporters Association, in their statement, said Parlade unduly red-tagged the journalist and in effect put all of them in harm's way for simply doing their job, which is covering the justice beat. The group has also demanded an apology from Parlade. For News 5, Patricia Mangune. We are One News.
And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The country's inflation rate quickened to 4.2% in January, the highest since February 2019. Food and non-alcoholic beverages push through figure up, with meat, vegetables, and fruits recording the highest increases. The IATF has allowed Baguio hotels to receive domestic tourists even under general community quarantine. The tourism department endorsed the request to the task force due to the city's visitor information, registration, and contact tracing system. Baguio was placed under GCQ for the entire month of February due to rising COVID-19 cases in the area. And Myanmar's new military government has blocked access to Facebook to ensure stability as resistance to the coup grew. Now, this comes after opposition to the junta has emerged strongly on Facebook, which is Myanmar's main social media platform, including for business and government. The Ministry of Communications and Information said that the social media network would be banned until Sunday, as users were supposedly spreading fake news and causing misunderstanding. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.